everybody, welcome to another video. My name is Infiniti, and if you are new here, I am the face and the voice behind all the content under Infiniti Crafting Co. And today I bring you day 20 of Vlogust. In today's video, I'm going to talk a little bit about like DIY packaging and little thrifty things that kind of got me through the first year, several years of me pursuing my little entrepreneurial endeavors. So without further ado, I'm just gonna get into it. So first of all, like a lot of people who start out, not everybody, but a lot of people who start out crafting and whatnots, they are usually in college, they're living in their college dorm, they're living that broke college life, I understand. Some people who start out, they're not quite sure how serious they want to get into it. It might just start off as a hobby, and they're just looking for some quick little go-to tips for like presentation stuff. So when I first started out doing my commissions and things like that, I was hand delivering things, so that made things a little bit easier as far as like presentation goes. I would go to the Dollar Tree. The Dollar Tree is one of my favorite places because you get to be as thrifty as you like, and you can like really rack up on some cool things. So as far as what goes into my packages, or first of all, what did I put my items in? So I would get the decorative gift bags depending on the size of the project. Usually I would wait till after I finished the project, and then I would go to the store and I would look at the gift bags over there. Now, eventually, once I started making more stuff, I just decided to buy kind of in bulk, if you will, because I knew the typical size of projects that I would be making. So I just get a bunch of bags of stuff in different sizes, and I would have them on hand. I'd keep them in a tote, nice and sealed. So there was that. So what goes into the bag? When I'm really extra. If anything, I really like a good presentation, and so I would get absolutely all of the tissue paper from the gift wrapping section. And here's one of the wrappers I have. It's a little wrinkled because it's been folded up, or they call it packing tissue, whatever, it's tissue paper. I got the rainbow packs, and I would get just anything that they had available, so that I had the options when it came to the bags, like the color options when it came to stuffing my bags, and depending on the color of the project and all that, I had everything kind of coordinated. So that was really, really fun. And to date, when I ship things out, I still wrap my items in this tissue paper, the gift tissue paper, whatever. It sounds weird. Anyway, so there was that. That was some really interesting touch, and I found that kind of helped people to come back, or like at least want to come like back and shop with you when you do get commissions, because they're like, oh, they took extra time to put this detail into the packaging of my item. They were happy. That made them happy. So that was one thing. I'm real big on thank yous, so I would always do thank you letters. Now, when I first got commissions, I hand wrote them, which is good and fine. It's a beautiful personal touch, and I mean, if you're ambitious enough to do it, if you have enough free time to do it, if you can deal with your own handwriting, then go for it. But like I said, I was in college, and I was like, oh yeah, you know what? I have free printing. So, and this isn't one of my thank you letters, but this is one of the first posters I designed, or flyers I designed for my YouTube channel. And color copies, I got them completely free when I was in community college. So guess who was mass printing their flyers at school? It was free of charge, so I just went for it. And then like my thank you letters, I would print those out en masse, and then I would just have them on my shelf, so whenever I got an order or something, all I'd have to do is hand sign it. Now, I've always hand signed my thank you letters. I just prefer to do that, and it just works out for me better that way, so that's what I do. And I think still to this day, I actually have my little thank you notes that I put in my orders. Now, these I got done at Vistaprint, and on the front here, I don't know if it's really that visible because of my lighting, but down here, once I tell my thank you, I have a space where I can sign it, and that works for me. I used to have the full sheets, but I decided that the smaller cards were better, and they just look better for me. So I'm sure if, you know, your local library offers like inexpensive color copies, if you want to do your flyers or your thank you letters in color, you could do that. If you're home printing, you know, they have all kinds of decorative papers at Walmart that you can get by the pack, and you can print out your own special types of thank you notes. I know I have the document that, like, it's like diploma paper. I don't use it much because it's only like 15 in a pack, but I use those on special occasions, and I usually handwrite those notes when I do use it. So there are like a multitude of options when it comes to doing your thank you notes for your commissions. You don't just have to go through Vistaprint or a printing company to get it done. Now, like I said, eventually I bit the bullet and I did go through Vistaprint, and I got a bunch of business cards, I got a bunch of thank you note cards, and I have those on hand because they match all my current branding. But when I first started out, this is me. This is me, and I actually have one of my first business cards up here, and it is very different from this guy down here. But then even, let me see, I think I have them in reach. Even this one is very different from either one of these. But this was from the first batch of professionally printed ones that I got. When I first started out, I had this one up here, and I printed them out myself. But I found that I'd rather have my business cards printed in mass because ink is a pain in the butt when it comes to buying it. My ink is expensive. So I decided to kind of save my ink for other things and just get my business cards printed once I could afford to do a big order of them. So that's cool. And that's what I use now whenever I ship things out. Another thing, I know I've talked about it a lot this month, is when I do my scrunchies. And I'm probably going to have the video pop up on one of these sides or cover my face. I don't know yet. But I use decorative paper, and I just hand strip. I hand strip all of my little bands that I put around my scrunchies when I make them. And I find that this is just, for me, it's aesthetic, but also it just like saved me at the time because I couldn't afford to buy the scrunchie holders, and I couldn't really find any that I liked or that I thought would fit around my scrunchie. So I said, you know, let me just use this decorative paper that I have had for a minute, and I've been using that, and I really like how that looks, and I doubt if I'll be changing that anyway soon. So there are those, and as you can see in the video, I am just stripping to my heart's content. So now I have plenty of them for when I finish all my silk scrunchies. I can bind those. Now, of course, these I can either bind with like tape or stapler. I was using staples until my stapler broke. It just like gave up on me. It said stop. So I started using tape, which is just as fine. The adhesive, it works just fine. People usually rip up the paper anyway once they get the scrunchie, so it's no real big deal on the binding method, just as long as your staples aren't like sticking out or anything where they can hurt people or snag your project. Another thing that I do that is probably really thrifty, but especially like when you're first starting out and say you're going to do craft fairs, or you're just like handing off your commissions, like you're hand delivering them or whatnot, you don't necessarily have to go through Uline or some big packaging company to order a bunch of packaging, especially if you're just starting out and you're not fully committed to the idea yet. You can just go again to the dollar store, Family Dollar, something, and you can get these plastic baggies. Like, there's the ones I got, there's like 80 in the box. There's like 80 in the box. I get them. I put my hats in here. I put my scrunchies in here. If I have gloves or scarf sets, I put them in here. At any project that will fit this size, it will go in this bag. Actually, I'm going to put my scrunchies back in there. I do this because, I mean, with the way they handle packages, you know, some people I have seen where they put a specific like tote outside, and they're like, put my packages in the tote. It can rain or anything, and the last thing I personally want is for my project to sit out in the rain somewhere if I am shipping it out. But people also just like plastic. It adds a sense of cleanliness to, I guess, the project, if you will. It's just I guess it's just a mental condition thing, but people really like the plastic. Even if they toss it or throw it out, they appreciate the extra step. So that was something that I always thought was handy. Plus it keeps the project clean and whatnot. But yeah, the last thing you want, if you're shipping your projects and you like use the craft paper mailers instead of the poly mailers, the last thing you want is for that package to get caught in the rain somewhere, and the person opens it and they're stuck with soggy yarn, and if you have business cards or thank you letter in there, they have paper bits stuck to it, and it's just, oh my gosh, no. So it's a double thing. It's an aesthetic thing, and it's also a precautionary thing. But those are pretty much the only things that I remember specifically doing when I first started doing my commissions and selling my stuff and delivering things and shipping things. Some of these things I still use today because they have really been good tips, and you know, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Now, that's not to say that I don't have the other materials. Should I need them, yes, I could get them. But some things, for now, they just work better for me. So, I hope those tips were helpful. If so, don't forget to leave this video a thumbs up if you're on YouTube, or a heart if you're on Instagram. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell over on YouTube so you don't miss out on future videos. This is Vlogust, and though it is coming to an end, I still don't mind taking questions. I absolutely love community engagement, so feel free to ask me your questions either in the comment section below on here, or if you're watching this on Instagram, you can DM my page and I will get to those questions in a future video. And until tomorrow, happy making.